Welcome into the Game Plan, presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn.
Welcome into the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. This is the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn and the legend Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr. And coach, we've said this already, but again, we have another quick turnaround after Monday Night Football. Take on the Dallas Cowboys. How do you handle a quick turnaround like that for a second time this season?
Yeah, it's a process, to go through to get ready, whether it's a long week, a short week, a Thursday, a Monday, and you just have to stick true to that. Like this is the part of the game plan you want to put on this day, the next day, and the next day. And so the physical output, Bryan, can change, but the mental part will stay consistent. That way, you're not throwing too much onto a player or not enough, just staying with what's needed to go play at our best. And the physical part can change. Less reps, less speed, but the process of learning the game plan and getting it right, it takes the work and it takes the days to get ready for that.
And I always felt like when we played division rivals or teams you had a lot of familiarity with, like it kind of made it easier. I know there's new coordinators there now, but you know the personnel, you kind of know how they get down. That's how I felt as a player. Is that how you feel as a coach?
It definitely is, because as a player, you knew that matchup, you knew some of the intricate things about them. And so even though there's new, defensive play caller, Brian's, calling plays, Mike was there calling plays. So it's not the same, but there's some similarities. And I think as a player, it helps the most because this guy's got this technique, this thing, their strength, their speed. Yep. And so it definitely helps, man.
And Coach, I'm sure we all miss seeing Terry and Noah out there. However, this is giving an opportunity for other guys to step up,
right?
Like a Nuke McCaffrey, like a Jalen Lane, even a Chris Moore. How great is it to see those guys be able to be ready for whatever role you're asking them?
Yeah, it's awesome, Bryan. Like for those guys to be able to express themselves, how they want to play, how they want to be seen as competitors, delivering for their guys, that's a big deal. And so we're not surprised that they're able to, but it does make you proud knowing that like they put the work in and they want to demonstrate to their guys when called upon, I also can deliver. Like you said, some of these guys, they're going to be coming back, but it does give your whole team more depth, more a well-rounded group to know, all right, we need everybody, and they're more than carrying their weight.
And like with a guy like Luke, he's got like a family. It's like a family trade for him.
Yes.
Like, does that show up in how he prepares at all, or because in the draft they talk about it all the time? Oh, his dad was this, or his brother's this. Does it show up in the locker room at all?
I don't. It's the competitive nature that he plays with. Sure. He's one of the league's up and coming returners, but it wasn't something that he just did his whole life. So I think there's an element of just out competing and finding ways to go do that, and so. There's certain people that just have that knack, like I'm not going to back down, I'm not going to stop going for it, and he definitely has that.
And Coach Jaden Daniels, I think what's impressed us most about him is his poise, not only when you win, but also his poise and confidence when you lose. How have you seen him handle this week of preparation to getting ready for the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, that's part of being a franchise quarterback. It's the wins that are super important because that's the confidence, that's the thing that propels you. Unfortunately, Bryan, some of these are the things that you have to go through as well. When there's a game that doesn't go your way and there's a loss and that stings, and knowing how you respond to that everybody's watching and looking and where you're going to grow from it. And so he has that. And it's not easy, but it is part of it. You wish that it wasn't. I wish that it wasn't for any team. But you do have to respond, man. And that's one thing, like, all of us can count on from Jaden, like that. He absolutely responds. And he'll be ready, I promise you.
And you mentioned franchise quarterback in there, and he's a special player. What are some other characteristics maybe that he's shown you that kind of lead you to look at him in that kind of way?
Yeah, I think it's the multiplying effect. Can you help others improve, Logan? Can you, elevate, another teammate in their game and what they can do? And once that begins to happen, it multiplies down to others because now you don't have just one Jaden, but you're expanding that, in terms of practice habits, the work ethic, the going to make plays, the confidence that you put into others. And once that starts to take place, then you can help elevate others. But it does need some time. You don't do that on day one. And you have to grow through it. And he's now able to do that, which is a really cool next step for him.
And Coach, as you look at this Cowboys defense, you're very familiar with them, right? Especially guys like Bland and Diggs, who have shown ways to get their hands on the ball. What makes guys like that so proficient at forcing takeaways? And I know you're looking at them when we're about to play them.
Yeah, well, one, it's a lot of work to go through that. You have to study and the routes and what you're looking for. They spend a lot of time, the different style of catches, over the head, behind, down low. And so coming in with great ball skills, Bryan, that's a great prerequisite. But it's the matter of contested catches, when to go take your shot, when to be aggressive, when not to, and there's trial and error with that. Common routes, as Logan would say, that's a double move. Someone's trying to, if they're biting on something, they're trying to go for the big one. Jalen Lane had one in our game. And so having the discipline to know when to go, when not to, but, and then once they get it, then having a chance to go do things with it. So yeah, we definitely have to be ready for those two. They are official ball hawks. And so yeah, we have to, make sure you know that going into the game and who's vulnerable, what chances they take, and make sure we do a good job on our end.
Does the style of defense that they're playing in affect their ability to do that? You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, like, when you were there, a lot of man, kind of change up, Tampa 2, here a little bit more zone. Does that
It's a little
affect the
bit
player?
different, the technique that they're playing now compared to where when we did it, when you were playing off, we read the quarterback.
Sure.
And so some of the ways they don't do that now is different. And so stylistically, that's different, but these are two good players that, will find their own ways to make their mark.
And Coach, you talked a lot about, when you look at our defense, about getting the ball back, forcing turnovers. What is that conversation? How do you make something like that happen against a team like the Dallas Cowboys, whose offense is rolling?
Yeah, they are. And you have to be intentional, first off. When you think about, there's two ways that get created, like one, that you're forcing the ball out, whether it's when you sack the quarterback, you take a shot at it, on any ball carrier, big ones from the catch when they're pulling it down to put on the way down to the ground. Bryan, does the ball come out? And so you try to find the details in that. And then on the passing game, downfield throws, where do you have vision on the quarterback, and going to, on the contested catches, you've got to go win at the catch point. And that's a big deal to get an interception. Logan's fighting for it, I'm fighting for it. That's the catch point, and you have to go win at that spot.
I never really thought about that. Like, there are moments where the ball's like hot. Do you like show the guys film of that and be like, hey, just a reminder, like, this guy gonna fight for that extra yard, that ball's, and not necessarily loose, but like I remember you're going to the ground, putting a hand on the ground or something, and then the elbow gets a little off spot.
That's
you just
right.
show clips of that and kind of.
We do, and then try to practice those techniques for when they come up, and more than anything, develop a mindfulness to say, this is how you punch, this is where they're vulnerable, can you go? And so the offense, defense, they train one another at practice. The defense has to take more shots. Our offense, the way we carry the ball, the way you do it in traffic, and so all of it, factors into it.
And Coach, when you look at our secondary, right, even in losses, they have shown signs of greatness. They have impressed the fan base. What have you seen from our secondary, and how impressed have you been with them at this point of the season? Yeah,
one thing I thought, you always want to see your team improving in different spots. I thought the outside guys in Trey and Marshawn over the last couple of weeks, people are taking shots down the field and really answering and delivering into those spots. So that's a big deal, because if you want to play aggressive, a team is, usually wanting to take some shots outside to go. And then after the injury to Will Harris, Jeremy Reeves has done a nice job stepping into that spot. We all count on him in so many ways, but his communication, the hitting, is something that we expected from Jeremy, but losing Will and then having him step into that space, that was a big deal.
And Coach, a big game for the secondary, right? Because Dak Prescott is playing some of his best football. We have seen a guy you are also very familiar with. What's your message to those guys about slowing a guy like Dak Prescott down and keeping him from continuing to play so hot?
Yeah, I think for a player like him, when they get onto rhythm, that's when it gets hardest. When that back foot touches the ground, the ball, he's anticipating where to throw it. And so when you can disrupt somebody, Bryan, then that same rhythm doesn't stay in effect. They've got an excellent group of skill players, that are eligible, from receivers and tight ends. They got a strong running back, but you have to disrupt, the head of the snake. And if you don't, he'll stay in rhythm and go. He's a fantastic competitor. So we've got to find our ways to get him out of rhythm.
Disrupt the head of the snake, man. I like that, man. I have to put that on a T-shirt, Coach. Coach, appreciate you so much, but it's time for you and Logan to get into some field study. We'll talk to you in a little bit. Don't forget your brand new coffee mug, Coach.
All right, I'm all over it.
Always great catching up with Logan and Coach. We'll get to hear from them more a little later in film study. But now it's time for our Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudoun's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. And our Prime Player is no other than the Tasmanian Devil linebacker, Frankie Louvu. Let's take a look at his Week 6 numbers. My boy got busy on prime time. He didn't shy away from the bright lights on Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears with 6 total tackles, 1 QB hit, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 1 sack. Louvu was filling it up and flying around in week 6. Can't wait to see what he does the rest of the season. Now, coming up, you won't want to miss this. Coach and Logan head into film study to talk about this Washington offense. And later on, Logan, Coach, and I will count down the kickoff. We'll be right back after this break.
The Game Plan is presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. And by the Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today. Please play responsibly.
Welcome back into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, presented by Salisbury University. It's time for film study, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. Take it away, Coach and Logan.
Thanks, Rasheed. Coach, again, like one of the fun things about this group is the young guys and kind of the players that you wouldn't necessarily think about making plays. And one guy that did a great job this week was our guy, Jalen Lane, down here at the bottom with the double move, getting explosive opportunity down the field.
Yeah, and this is a big op for you. When you have a pressure like this, Logan, you can already see the middle field coverage. And so when a corner is wanting to sit on the routes, that's a quick game to go. And now the snap down and then go back again. I thought Jaden just, looking away to get the safety away from the throw and then throwing an absolute dime. So not allowing the safety to, go too quickly to go. And then the double move by Lane was just fantastic.
He does Lane does a great job on the route. You see his explosive burst down the field. But I love the fact you brought up Jaden and his ability to kind of hold the safety, because once you know the coverage, once you see that it's this man coverage,
that's right.
He's the only guy that can kind of come save the day if you need to, right? So you got to count for him.
And just throwing an absolute dime on it, not too much air, just throwing it with enough to put it right into that sweet spot, and knowing you got a big play out.
I didn't notice that. That's pretty flat for him. Usually that's got a lot of heart.
Yeah, sometimes you have to put it on more of a line, and that was the case here, knowing where the safety was. So that's the type of growth that he's making for sure.
It's so fun to watch him every week kind of just grow as a football player and watch the young players grow
that's
as
right.
well. So this is another one that's fun. It's kind of everybody runs it, high school football, the whole deal, right? But you guys put a little bit of seasoning on it, right? We're going to kind of fake like we're going to block here, run the go. Guys get a little bit nosy with vision in the backfield, and you get guys wide open, and it's just a well-schemed, well-designed play.
Well, I think the one person that you left out is the person that catches so many of these screens.
Yes.
And so when you see Debo about to get lined up on it, there's a lot of attention going to his way.
You feel his gravity, right?
Yes, and so as the players are starting to run towards that way, because he is an absolute problem with it, it allows the downfield one to go, and it's actually not a screen, just a fake to it. You can see Tunsil working right down the line of scrimmage, knowing that the cell is going right there to Debo. Now it opens up the pass
and that's
down
just
the field.
One of the fun things about Cliff with these little creative play designs is everyone runs the fake bubble, right? But to have the offensive lineman get back out there and really kind of sell the whole process, I think just, again, takes you to that next level offensively.
Yeah, this one's been in the cooker for a few weeks, and we've had experience at it and plays at it, and a great design by Cliff, and certainly the right time to call it up. You don't want these plays to go in for scores, Logan.
Yeah.
You're not looking for first downs on this play.
Yeah, looking for touchdowns. And again, it's really hard to see, for me to ever remember seeing this kind of grass. That's a well-designed football play. And I think it's also a testament to Luke and how he's been blocking on the perimeter.
Yep, and you can see, the way, down here on the bottom, Debo's pointing. He knows, so that's a big deal.
He gets it, man, absolutely.
Yep,
so great to see two young guys making plays, and now kind of an older guy making a play, a guy who's maybe done it a million times. You talk about Bobby Wagner, the million times he's done a tackle. Zach Ertz has run this route. He was running this when I was playing, so quite a long time ago, this little kind of glance route with the underneath hold player
just
here.
The technique of where his eyes are, Logan, where he's setting it up, and then to attack a leverage, of a second level player, and now snap it back inside, and the double follow between the back and the tight end, allowing it to go and absolutely throwing another rip that had to be thrown hard right to one spot, and good play design, good execution.
Yeah, and just the comfort level there, and then also getting the middle run through player to play to the 3x1 side with the vision from Jaden. Just lots of really positive things on this play, and again, just the reps, the touchdown, the ball, and then this is maybe one of my favorite plays of the day, Coach. You're going to get a little box fade here by Moore, and a guy who's just kind of done everything for you, played teams, he's blocked. To make a play like this when he's got to have it is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and knowing when your ops are there, what you can do. So often we talk about a fade or an outside go ball that people would have. And so sometimes to create more space, you can also do it from the slot.
Sure.
And so that's why the box fade can sometimes be a good option, because now you can create even a little more space. And just a great throw, throwing it right down the inside, and love that Chris went up to go get it.
Love that he went to go get it, but this play doesn't happen without these big guys up front. And specifically this guy, man, and he is just kind of, he is just a football player's football player. And watching him on this play is special because they're putting him in a little bit of conflict now. They're bringing this cross-dock protection. They get 2 on the back, and he steps up there and just, this stuff gives me goosebumps because this is hard to do, and he does it at such a high level.
Yeah, he's one of our most consistent players, and just always down for it. He made a huge conversion on like 3rd and 14 to get a big play, and so he's one of our more consistent guys and just always down for the fight. But you're right, these two linebackers are big and physical, and so that's his job, man. Step up into that A gap and go make the block, and no doubt about it, that's going down.
It keeps the quarterback's legs nice and clean. And then you talked about the throw, like we talked about how the other one was nice and flat. This one's got that arc on it, give him time to get out there, and it's just the different type of club in the bag from the quarterback.
Yes.
You see the experience starting to come each and every week.
Yeah, we're pumped he's back, and hopefully more ops. Great blitz pick up onto this spot, but that's how you want to get it done right there against man-to-man.
Coach, man, it's fun watching this offense kind of click, get a little bit more active each and every week. Jaden get a little bit better each and every week. Can't wait to watch you versus the Cowboys today.
Right on.
Always great learning from head coach and Logan. But now it's time for our winning numbers, brought to you by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And our winning numbers this week are from quarterback Jaden Daniels. And over the past 2 weeks since returning from injury, JD5 has found his rhythm and has thrown for 483 yards while still getting it done on the ground with 91 rushing yards. He found the back of the end zone 4 times with 4 different receivers. Can't wait to see our guy get it done the rest of this season. Now let's take a look at more of our upcoming competition. It's time for a competitive edge brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Now here's a look at some of the averages from the Commanders and Cowboys going into Week 7. Now the Burgundy and Gold offense found success in the air with Jaden Daniels, who threw for 211 yards and 3 touchdowns. Our running back by committee put up another solid performance of 124 total yards, led by running back Bill Krosky-Marriott, who had 17 carries for 61 yards on the ground. But the difference maker in that game was that Washington put up a season-high 3 turnovers in its loss to Chicago. Now Washington's defense will face off against a familiar foe in Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, who are coming off of a Week 5 loss to the Carolina Panthers. Through 6 weeks, the Cowboys led the NFL in offensive points per game with 29.7. Now the divisional rivalry continues this week on the road in Dallas, and we can't wait to see this NFC East showdown. Now we gotta go to break, but be sure to stick around, Commanders family, because Logan, Coach, and I will be right back to count down the kickoff and talk more about this Week 7 matchup. But before we go to break, we have to give congratulations to our Commanders Coaches of the Week. Coach Jermaine Howell of Wheaton High School in Silver Spring, Maryland, and Coach Matthew Patterson of Gainesville High School in Gainesville, Virginia. Nice work, coaches. Keep up the good work. We'll be right back with more of the game plan after this break. Welcome back into the game plan with head coach Dan Quinn, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. It's time for your must-watch moment presented by Marsh McLennan Agency. And our must-watch moment this week is looking back at last season in Washington's Week 18 matchup versus the Cowboys out in Dallas. Last year, Washington defeated Dallas 23-19 on a game-winning touchdown to 1-7 Terry McLaurin that broke the Commanders' franchise record for single-season receiving touchdowns with 13 in the 2024 season. Now, that was a great trip down memory lane, and Washington will look to win in Dallas for a second straight season for the first time since 2014. Now it's time for our countdown to kickoff, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Coach, in closing, it's rivalry week. There's nothing like the NFC East battles, and you know that better than anybody. How have you gotten your guys ready for this one, right? We're coming off of prime time. Now it's a rivalry game, a big rivalry game.
Yes.
How you get the guys up for that?
You know what's good? You don't have to say a lot, Brian. Just look at these helmets right here. And this battle's been going on well before the three of us. And it's really cool to be a part of that, and knowing that so many players, have been part of the tradition here with the organization. And so this matchup in the NFL is always a big one. And so for us to get to be a big part of that, between DC and Dallas and battling for it, man, it's awesome, and it'll be a hell of a fight.
How do you get the young guys familiarized with the rivalry? Because that was something that, you know, other coaches I played for here did. They'd kind of show a video or they get someone in to talk. Because coming from college, it's like, you know, you don't understand kind of the history of it. Do you do anything kind of to get those guys like this?
Same thing. We want to make sure we have some demonstration of games and what happened, and so it's a big deal to know, like, hey, you are now part of it.
Yeah, right.
You know, this is what happened in the past, and this is what's here, and so yeah, it's a cool thing, and we get to show that a little bit on the night before the game.
Coach, we are so excited for tonight's game. We know those Commanders fans are going to show up and show out like they always do.
100%.
This has been The Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr., here with the legend, Logan Paulsen. Let's raise hell today, baby.
The Game Plan, sponsored by Salisbury University, was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.